All right, we got audio now. I don't know how well it's going to work because it ain't the right audio, but it seems to be audio. Still no audio. What the hell? Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test, 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 test. Ah, great. I have no idea. What's up, fellas? This is like quick, fast, and in a hurry. The green screen's not working right. I don't know what that's about. It was working fine last night. I thought I would do a quick and dirty Prime Day thing. I was going to try and do one with T.O., but I haven't heard from T.O., and I don't know if he disappeared and went to another country or what the deal is there. So I was on his stream earlier today while I was in the chat, and there was a lot of good deals that him and Chuck were talking about. And I don't want to spend a long time on this because I got to eat dinner, right? Hey, Dean, Lon, Sam, Jeff, Brian, and I think that's everybody in there. Way to go. Hello, fellas. Let me share a tab with y'all. So one of the things that that Chuck was showing earlier was these solar generator things. And there's some super good deals on these. And the other thing I saw was that Jackery, I got an email from Jackery. Of course, these are more than I'm going to spend, that they're having their big Prime Day deal. So what I was going to try and do, that's not showing us Prime Day deals. I thought I could sort that by that. So when you're looking at these things, if you've ever looked at one of these things are pretty cool. So it's a battery, and it's got a built-in inverter, so it'll run 120, 110 out, that kind of deal. Let me see if we can get a big picture here. There we go. So this one has 110 volt, 200 watt. You could run a laptop on that. You can run a small fan or two. You could run a CPAP machine, that sort of thing. A couple of USB ports. Notice on this one that those are 5 volt, 2.4 amp. So those are not really, those are 10 watt. They charge stuff, but they're not going to charge super fast. Those are not high power ports. If you want that, you need to look for one that has USB-C, and it should say PD on it, power delivery. This particular one, I believe that right there is an MC style connector. So you could hook up a solar panel to this to recharge it. I'm sure their solar panels got the connections for it and has the built-in generator. Of course, if you use this, you'll be happy, and you'll be sitting by a rock in the shade with your solar panel reading your iPad. That's what this is telling me. So that's pretty cool. I don't know that this is the best deal. I got something earlier today, and I do want to share this with y'all because I thought it was a great deal. Oh, for crying out loud, Amazon, really? All right, hang on. Security. I don't see my secret code. Okay. So I saw a couple things that were pretty good deal. If you're looking for coax, this is a nice deal for this. This is a 50-foot roll of the RG316 stuff. That's the real thin coax. This is great for jumpers and stuff like that. This is going to have a fair amount of signal loss at higher frequencies, but down at HF or short runs, this is not a big deal. You know, I don't know exactly what the loss is per 100 foot, but it's not, that's not a bad deal at all. And I went ahead and ordered the, oh, what is it? The, I'll pull it up in a second. I'm the only one here running this by myself right now. Let's see. What is that thing I want to do? Hang on one second, guys. This is the first time I've ever actually live streamed by myself. Okay. So now I can get y'all in the chat and keep the chat up where I can see you guys. And then I can look at the tab with the browser. All right. All this technology. Yeah, HK, I know there's a Prime Day deal thing up there. I'm going to hit that in a second. I was going over some specific ones that I saw today. So anyway, I bought this. I did not have connectors with it. So when I bought it, it said stuff people bought with this. And it popped up with the connectors. So I got some connectors with it. And I already have the crimping tool for it. So that was pretty decent. The other thing that I got today, let's see. So crimp connectors, bulkhead connectors, yada, yada, yada. This guy. And this I wanted to share with you guys and make sure y'all had heard about this. So first thing, I'm not sponsored by these guys. Second thing, I don't know how good this is. I don't have one. I haven't ever read any reviews on this. I'm going to give it a shot. The reason I thought this was a great deal is the price on this thing is $223, which is about the going rate for a 300 watt portable power station / solar generator. But look right there, $100 coupon. So I ordered one of these, $133, tax, title, and tag to my door. This is similar to the Jackery. These things are all fairly similar. So he's got an AC output, an MC4, I guess it looks like, or maybe a 2.5 millimeter. This one's nice because look at this. He has a USB 3 style plug, which is higher power. That's a 5 volt 2.1 USB 2 style. So that's 10 watts. This, I think, will go up to 24 watts. USB 3 is higher power. So 1 3, 2 2s, and the Type C. So without reading the specs, I don't know if that's going to be 30 watts or 60 watts or what the power output is on that. But it's got a Type C on it too. And a lot of stuff, you know, is going toward Type C. This has a 12 volt 10 amp DC out and a 24 volt 4 amp DC out. That's a bonus. These things are great because my wife and I, for example, both have CPAPs. They will run directly on 12 volt. So you can plug in the power brick that goes with it, which would use the inverter, which is very inefficient. But they also, both of our CPAPs run directly off 12 volt with that little plug. So we can plug our CPAPs in and run them probably well over all night on one of these things, which is excellent. If I don't sleep with a CPAP, I pretty much don't sleep anymore. So that I thought was a good deal. I hope it turns out to be a decent piece of gear. Rickshaw Jack, hey man, welcome to the stream. That should be a LifePo. All these things are LifePo. Let's roll through. I hope it is. Now that you asked me that, I'm frightened. Let's see. It'll be going back to Amazon if it's not. I'm here to tell you that. Well, let's see. It's got a car outlet, which I didn't even mention because car outlets are so 1965. A lot of these also have an LED flashlight. It's not a flashlight. It's more of an area light. So it's good for a table. If you use it camping, you know, you'd have a little bit of a table light to play cards at or whatever, eat dinner. If you're in a power outage situation, good down, you can plug this thing in and sit it in the living room, sit there and read by it or whatever. And these are low power LEDs. These things will run forever. I was looking to see if they gave any specs. 7 pounds, which is about the going size on these things. Yeah, the one thing, if you've never played with one of these, you cannot put your microwave or a toaster on this thing. Coffee maker, they're going to suck way more than 300 watts. So, this is a good question and a good answer as long as the total power doesn't exceed 300 watts, and that's through all the output plugs. So pay attention to that. I'm sure this is LiFePO. I would like to. It says lithium ion. We'll have to see. This may be lithium ion. I thought most of these were LiFePO, but we'll see. And honestly, for $133, and this guy's function is going to be backup power at my house. So yeah, Lon, I found it. Lithium ion. I don't know what the other ones are. I assumed that these things were all LiFePO, but maybe they're not. Yeah, see, that one is the Blue Eddy. Now that's 700 watts and $400. The Blue Eddies are supposedly pretty nice stuff. This is good gear. These are high dollar. I am straight up tell you, they're high dollar. I've looked at these before, and this is nice. This says 2 100-watt USB-Cs. So you can absolutely run a computer on that thing, just about. LiFePO, 410 volt pure sine wave AC outlet, 700 watts. That's a nice device. Now, I don't know if that's a Prime deal or not. Doesn't look like it. Let's see if we can find some Prime deals. Anyway, I bought that one because it was $100 off. I thought, you know what? We'll get it and hope for the best. And guys, it's Amazon. If it's junk, I'm going to send it back. I've never had anything but awesome customer service out of Amazon. All right, Prime Day deals. Let's see. I can get a gentle iron. Let's find the good stuff. Can I search within Prime Day? Yeah, I can. Let's see. Let's try HF radio. Daigou, the G90. I don't have a G90. I'm not a G90 fan necessarily. It's not a bad radio. The screen on it is pretty cool for a little tiny radio. The price is good, $400. That's not a huge discount. I've seen them for $430 most of the rest of the year. So I don't know that that's a smoking awesome deal. Oh, let's see. Anything jump out? Here's a DMR radio for $143, an Islands. IP67, 200,000 contacts. That's pretty cool. Because there are probably pushing 200,000 contacts in the full DMR database. I have a 6X2. Well, I have 4 or 5 DMR radios. I have a 6X2, and I think it only does 150,000 contacts. Now, that being said, do you really need the whole entire world in there? I've got like EU in the United States and South America, I think. I don't have a lot of Asia or Russia in mine. I don't know how good of a radio that is. I don't have one, and I've never played with one. Oh, let's see. Here's a Ballon Kit for $18. And what is this supposed to be? A 49? 1-to-1. But you could rewrap that. And it's however many turns you put on that coil. On that toroid. And that kind of depends on what toroid it is. Does it say in there? It doesn't say, but that looks like that would be a 240 probably to fit in that box. 100 watts. So yeah, that's going to be like a 240. So this can be whatever you want it to be based on how you wrap the toroid with that magnet wire. And that looks like fairly stout magnet wire. So that's not a bad deal. $18 for that kit. There's a lot of these going on, these Redivus walkie-talkies and FRS and MERS and that kind of stuff. I guess these are good deals. If I had multiple kids or something, you know, these are probably, I would guess these are FRS. Let's see. NOAA weather radio. LiPo batteries. I don't like LiPo batteries. I do not like LiPo batteries. They're sensitive and special, and if they get irritated, they blow up and catch fire. So I'd probably pass on those just for the LiPo batteries. Yeah, and you know, according to a lot of people, Baofeng is the devil. So I don't know. Your mileage may vary. Radiodity sold a ton of those. What is it? The one that Steve has, that TO has, the X6100. He sold a ton of those. Let me see. While I'm here, let's turn on some audio processing. Hopefully that sounds a little better. I would probably be looking for a deal with GMRS radios. Now that GMRS radios have, the license has dropped to $35, that's a great deal. That's a family license too. So if you get the license, that covers your immediate family. Spouse, kids, could probably stretch it to them weird cousins that come and visit with you. You know, it's not like the license police are going to be patrolling how many random people may or may not use your GMRS license. So I think that's a good deal. And, you know, I'm a little prep adjacent. I'm not a huge prep type, but that would not be a bad deal to have a handful of GMRS radios. And I do have a GMRS license now. I don't remember my call sign at the moment, but let's see, 72 millimeter two-way radio dummy load testing, 30 amp, 50 ohm, 100 watts, 0 to 500 megahertz. That's a nice price for a full power, well, not legal power, but a, what do we call that, barefoot QRO power dummy load. That ain't bad. Kevin, you got yours in 5 hours. Listen, man, it was drama when I got mine, because I got mine early after the FCC changed it, the price, and somehow they screwed up. It's like a whole different website to actually pay for it. And I had like 4 applications and no way to pay for any one of them. And then I finally figured out a way to pay for one of them, but I paid for one of the ones that I canceled. It was a hot mess. I think they've got it straightened out now. So these are some interesting things here, and I don't know how good of a deal some of these are. That may be something you're interested in if you've got a couple radios together. I would be curious, and I have a similar one. I've never tested it. I'd be curious to see how much isolation there is between the UHF and VHF kind of deal. And this guy, it might say, so this guy has, yeah, the left side is HF to VHF and the right side is UHF. So I don't care for that layout. I'd like one that's VHF, UHF on one side and HF on the other. So I'd probably pass on that guy. And I don't know that I'm showing you guys anything that's just, you know, fabulous, but I've seen some multi-packs of Baofangs for what it's worth. Here's some Devil radios. And what are these guys? RT48s. Is this a license free? So this is probably MERS or FRS. And if you don't know, so these are not programmable. These are going to be channelized fixed frequencies on each physical channel by the knob there, and then you can't modify them, and a fixed power output. So these are I should have known that before we even looked at it. So these are going to be FRS or MERS. Typically, you're going to see FRS. I don't see a lot of stuff that's marked MERS, but you can use MERS too without a license. Some of these I've never heard of. You know, let's see. It's not exactly ham radio, but that supports 1080p FM radio right there, man. Or 4K FM radio. Wow. I love it on that high pixel density on my FM radio. That's great. That's awesome. Okay, let's get out of that. And let's see. Handheld radio. Again, these are going to be FRS or MERS, so no license required. Retevis RT29, a 6-pack for $315. So what is that? It's like $50 a radio. This is supposed to be a pretty nice radio here. Somebody has these, and it was TO. These are decent radios. These GM30s. And these are GMRS capable. They're GMRS repeater capable. These are programmable. So if you live in an area with GMRS repeaters, this has the frequency split to hit a GMRS repeater. A lot of the lower end GMRS radios are only basically simplex. That has NOAA weather radio, which is very common kind of thing. There's a marine radio. That is interesting. I have a couple marine radios for my boat, and that looks like one of the ones I've gotten. I'm trying to think of the one I have is a Lowrance, I believe, and that looks almost exactly like it, but I don't have it in here, so I can't tell you. I don't know that I've never heard of Samcom, but if you need a 6-pack of radios, that's not a bad price. Of course, there's Fangs. Let's see. I don't see anything else there that's just fabulous. If y'all guys got some ideas for stuff to look for, let me know. Yeah, Kevin, I had quadraphonic sound, man, back in the 70s. Until you hear the Who Quadrophenia in real quadraphonic. My girlfriend, her dad had a quadraphonic stereo. That was why she was my girlfriend. Well, that was one of the reasons. She was reasonably cute, too. Let's see. What was the other thing? Let's look at LifePo 4 batteries. So I saw a lot of deals with these today. And I don't know if they were Prime Day deals or just the, I think I screwed that up. LifePo 4. Let's try that. That took us to power banks. Oh, here we go. So I have, I got 4 or 5 LifePo batteries for tinkering with various stuff and going portable and whatnot. I bought a Chins brand 100 amp hour battery like a year ago. And that kid, Will Prowse, that does nothing but battery testing and review stuff, lots of it, and solar, he gave it really good ratings. He did a lot of extensive testing on it, and those were good batteries. That battery, when I bought it, was about $500. And I was noticing this morning when Chuck and T.O. were on T.O.'s channel doing a stream that 100 amp hour batteries are down to $300+, like $340 to $399 for a 100 amp hour. So that might be something you want to look at for you guys that are, going to be out for a while. And the one I have is a LifePo. It's not a lithium ion, and it doesn't weigh 20 pounds. It's not very heavy at all. But what I had noticed was the price has gone down tremendously on these LifePo batteries. Let's see. Eco-worthy. These are also supposed to be fairly decent. So here we go. Eco-worthy 100 amp hour, $379. So that's already $120, $160 less than I paid for my Chins battery last year. 3,000 cycles. I mean, it's a LifePo, right? So what I've done with mine, and I don't have it built, but I bought a 2,000 watt inverter, and I have the LifePo, and my whole entire plan is to build a case or something to set the 100 amp hour battery in and the 2,000 watt inverter, and I have the power pack I bought today, and I have another solar generator kind of deal as well. So if we have a power outage here, short of running the air conditioner or something, I can keep fans and CPAP machines and phones and whatnot charged for quite a while. And honestly, even television, or shoot, run it on an iPad. I don't necessarily need a 55-inch TV during a power outage, but I can darn sure keep phones and iPads running with it. And so with a 2,000 watt inverter, I can run a fair amount of stuff on that. Probably could run a microwave on that, maybe. I'd have to do some math on that off of a 2,000 watt inverter. But keep in mind that those battery packs, those solar generator things, have onboard inverters, but they're not going to be 2,000 watts. So this is my 100 amp hour Chins battery and a separate AC inverter that I will marry together, and then I'll be able to do that. So it's something to think about for off-grid situations or whatever. Here's an ampere time, $3.99. Save an extra $20 when you apply this coupon. Again, that's a great deal because I paid $500 for my 100 amp hour battery like a year ago. And I think this is pretty highly rated too. If I could remember the name to Will Prowse's channel, I would drop it in the chat. He does a lot of battery review stuff. See, Kevin, that's a great deal. That's an awesome deal. Yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing about these batteries. I don't really know a lot of these. And that's why I watched Will Prowse. And that's where I found out about the Chins. I don't know how good a lot of these are. And, for all I know, it may be the same Chinese company making every one of these, reselling the same BMS and the same cells, right? The exact same hardware to 14 different companies. And all they're doing is changing the sticker or the color of the case around the cells. It could be the exact same battery guts. I don't really know. But, I mean, that's an outstanding price. And, Kevin, that price for a 200, that's great. 200 amp hour, man, that thing can run forever. And with a decent inverter on it, son, what you talking about? What you talking about? Battery charger. And if you do buy one of these batteries, one thing that I did, I had a couple chargers already, but they're low output power, low amperage. So while they'll charge the battery, like the one that came with my Bioenno 20 amp hour, it's only like, I don't remember. It's not much output. It takes a hot minute to charge the 20 amp hour, and to charge the 100 amp hour is like a day or two. And this is a lot of math, and I'm not even going to get into it because I ain't prepared for it. There would be charts and graphs. But that's one thing you got to look at when you're running on batteries is how are you going to charge it? So you need to look at solar panels as well. And of course you need a solar charge controller, because at some point you need to put some juice back into this battery or it's going to go flat on you, especially if it's an extended situation. So that's something you should look at as well. Now you can run your radio straight off of any of these batteries because it's 12 volts, 13.8, whatever. It's happy time for the radio. What you cannot do is run your radio straight off of your solar panel. That needs to go through a charge controller because most of them solar panels put out like 18 to 24 volts. And the charge controller manages that voltage. certainly when it's charging your battery, to keep it down where the battery expects it to be. And it would also keep it down with where the radio expects it to be, because your radio, your HF radio, does not want 18 to 24 volts. Anyway, but you can see there's some good, these are some outstanding prices. And again, I don't know how good any of these are. I don't know if these things are total crap. I don't know if this is a hidden secret that no one knows about, and we are revealing it for the first time tonight. I have no idea. But it looks like the prices on these have gone down to pretty decent range. Let's see. Solar charge controllers. So there you go. That's actually a pretty good deal. Now that's PWM. So there's, so that's not that great of a deal. There's two kinds of charge controllers, PWM and MPPT. PWM is pulse width modulation, and MPPT is I don't know what it means. I can't remember. And there will be a price difference. The PWMs are cheaper. My understanding is these things are a lot more RF spewing than an MPPT controller. MPPT is the newer technology. I don't know enough about it to really be intelligent on it. So yeah, Lon, I don't know. Like a lot of those batteries, the prices have dropped. It looks like across the board. It doesn't look like it's Prime Day deals, but a lot of those names, I just don't know. The Chins one, I remember it. I saw the review. The kid loved it. There's 2 or 3 other names I've seen. Battleborn, very expensive. That Ampere Time got good reviews from Will Prowse's channel. So, Kevin, thank you. Maximum Power Point Tracking. I knew it was something with power in it, but I couldn't remember the rest of it. So these charge controllers look kind of low-endy. Here you go, MPPT. This looks like a knockoff of something else. And it looks like there's a whole ton of these things that are almost the same. The what is the one, and T.O. has it, and I can't remember the name of it. Something Buddy. Power Pole Power Mini. Buddy Pole Power Mini. I think that's it. That's supposed to be a really, really nice charge controller. But as you can see, there's a whole metric ton of these things on the Amazon. So if you're going to get a solar panel, you need to consider that. Now let me jump into my email here, because I saw an email from Jackery. And let's load it up and see what they got. Of course, it opened in another browser window. All right, let's take a look at that. So this is what I got from Jackery. And I don't know how good of a deal any of this is. Let's see. So that's a 1,000. That's probably that 1,000. That would be a nice price for one of those things. These things have come down a fair amount. And of course, the higher that number, the more you can run. So 1,000 watts of power, 2,000 watt surge. That's a lot of stuff. That's certainly a lot of charging iPads and phones in an emergency. That's a lot of rechargeable flashlights. That's a lot of little LED lanterns that can run forever. This is talking about the using 2 100-watt solar panels right here, sold separately. You can charge this thing back up in 8 hours. So that's not bad. That's not bad. 22 pounds. LCD screen that has USB-C, USB 2, and a 3.0 port. So that's a cool deal. Oh, it opened a different tab. Hang on. My bad, folks. You're only seeing that tab. There we go. So that's got 2 USB-Cs, a 2 and a 3 port. That's pretty cool.
Holy moly.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going, Jim?
Well, I kept texting you, and I was like, are we going to do a thing? And I'm like, well, I'll just go and do a thing by myself since I hadn't heard from you. So.
Ah, man. Live streaming waits for no man.
Well, I felt confident enough to do it myself. I don't know how many people are on, probably like 3.
15, you're doing great.
15, holy mackerel. So these are supposed to be pretty nice gear in this solar power space. The Jackery stuff is pretty highly rated.
I've heard good things, yeah.
Yeah, and I mentioned in the chat this morning, and I cannot think of that guy's name. I think it's Hobotech.
Yeah, you mentioned Hobotech.
Yeah. I think that's the right name. That guy does a ton of reviews on these solar generator gadgets. And he loves him some Jackery. And he likes a bunch of the other ones too. But these are pretty highly rated. And in this space, I think these guys are kind of top of the heap. The one I bought one last year, an Audew, Audew. And at the time I bought it, it was a really good deal. It's a 300 watter. And he had reviewed it, and that's why I bought it, and it works great. So, but that deal from this morning, I'll have to see how good that works out. So that's Jackery. Let's see what else we got. Wise is having their
great
prime
name
deals.
for a product,
I thought their marketing department kind of was, yeah. What were you thinking? Because it sounds sketchy. Besides the obvious kind of reference, that's not the right link. It just sounds sketchy. Wise. Copy link. There we go.
Oh, spin to win. You're not even on Amazon for Prime Day deals. What are you talking about?
I've been on Amazon. We just jumped off Amazon.
Ah.
And now Wise, this isn't really radio stuff. Well, everybody's doing
security
Prime
cameras.
Day.
That's true.
They do a lot of stuff. So I have some of their cameras. I got that for free when I ordered something else. Let's see. Wise's stuff is budget priced, but it's actually decent gear. And if you look on the internet, you'll find tons of reviews on the Wise products. I have 2 Wise doorbells. I have the original model on one door, and I have this Pro model on our other door. They're great. This is on my to-do list, this floodlight thing. So this is a camera and floodlight unit all in one. I don't have a garage, so that really doesn't help me any. Or sprinklers. We do have doors. Just saying.
Abe was using one of these as a streaming camera for a while. I don't think he thought it was that good.
I would not stream with one. No, it's not. It ain't great. This keeps. God dang it, Wise. All right, hang on. They keep opening a separate tab.
Anybody in the chat got any great deals they found today or bought today? What'd you guys buy?
So, A. Hendricks, hello. You're here. The Explorer 300 is about $70 less than the Explorer 290 at Harbor Freight.
Wow.
On a Jackery? Wow.
And if you all would be so kind as to click the subscribe button if you haven't already, we're trying to get Jim past that 1,000 hurdle. Unlock all of YouTube's advanced bonus features.
Get me out of YouTube jail. Well, that's awesome.
I expected more scopes.
You guys covered scopes this morning. I haven't gotten to scopes. I haven't preached.
I wouldn't say we covered them. Two fools does not make a covering.
Well, no, y'all did all right. Anyway, look at the Wise stuff. They have a lot of
Deals.
good. They have a lot of good gadgets.
Yes, sir.
This is the original doorbell. This is on my to-do list, is to get one of these. I have not done that yet. This entertains my child. That's about all it's really good for, as near as I can tell.
So she can lock and unlock the door with her phone?
No, the light bulb. She can change colors.
Yeah. Well, it keeps her from pestering you.
Right. As long as she has access to play Roblox, she usually doesn't even talk to me.
I wouldn't either. All it is with you all day long is scope.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I know.
I'm more than just an oscilloscope. So these are something you guys may want to look at. I've got a bunch of their cameras. I've got 2 of the outdoor cameras. One's in my carport aimed at my truck and the boat, and one's in the back window of the house aimed out at the backyard, where I can also ensure that my antenna has not fallen over in the wind. So it's kind of security for the house and the antenna. What else do I have that's Wise? The bulb. Yeah, I'm forgetting something, and I don't remember now what it is. The doorbells. I don't know. So they're not bad. Let's see. Oscilloscopes. All right, Steve.
Well, it's more for Kevin. Kevin wants one.
Does he now? Kevin
N3 UPM.
You need a scope, son. You need a scope.
So you guys keep talking about this bandwidth of the scope, 40 megahertz. Does that mean that it reads from 0 to 40? Or does that mean that you can center it on 20 and it will read 20 up and 20 down? I realize that's the same overlapping math. So you center it on 40 and it'll read 20 up to 60 and 20 down to 20. That's better.
No, that's not really what that's going to do.
So if I toss 41 megahertz at it, it's going to freak.
No, it's not going to freak. It's going to attenuate the signal. So if you have the best way to demonstrate bandwidth on a scope, my wire's pulling. The best way to demonstrate bandwidth on the scope is if I'm putting in, like, let's say that that little one, what is that thing? The Finearcy one that I just did a review on?
Yeah, the little tiny one.
So the Finearcy says his bandwidth is 200 kilohertz. Okay. So I'm going to put out a signal at 1 volt peak to peak into that scope. And my signal is going to start at 1000 hertz. And then I'm going to start cranking up the frequency on the signal. And as that frequency goes up, that voltage peak to peak on the signal is going to start to drop. And it depends on the gear. Mm-hmm. But where that voltage peak to peak drops down to 0.707, which is minus 3 dB, then that is the bandwidth of the scope. It will still read the signal, but now you're attenuating that signal below 3 dB. That 3 dB point is what they consider the bandwidth on the scope.
So what you're looking at there is the scope trace is going to go up, flat top, and then come back down instead of go up and smooth.
Well, if you've got a sine wave going, right?
Yeah.
Instead of the sine wave taking up 4 blocks on the scope, depending on how you have the scope set, let's say that your full signal takes up 4 blocks. As you pass the bandwidth level, instead of 4 blocks, it's going to go down to 3.5 blocks, and then down to 3 blocks, and then down to 2 blocks, because it's attenuating the signal. You're pushing more signal through the scope than the scope can sample.
Okay. And then, so the next question up would be, what am I going to measure that's going to be, like 60 hertz is AC current. I'm not going to be, I don't think, because we haven't talked about this yet, I don't think I'm going to be plugging it into the output of my radio and pushing the PTT button and, audio. I mean, you can, but...
You can. It depends on what you're trying to do, and it depends on what scope you have. That little Finearcy one, or that O1, they don't do FFT, fast Fourier transform. So you cannot make them do audio stuff. The Siglant, like the one on the screen right now, on the left side, well, probably all 3 of those.
$424.
Those do fast Fourier transform. So what that will do, a regular scope signal does amplitude versus time. So this is voltage on the vertical axis, and this is time on the
Right.
horizontal axis. When you have one that does fast Fourier transform, it does amplitude on the vertical, and it does mathy stuff and changes the horizontal to frequency, so you can use it as a spectrum analyzer as well. So those little scopes, while they're fun to play with, especially the Finirsi, what it would be useful for is for debugging circuits on a something like an Arduino or Raspberry Pi circuit. Low power, low speed, 200 kilohertz is not that fast. So you're not going to be able to capture electrical signals that are going significantly faster than 200 kilohertz, which means for radio purposes, you're not going to get anything. It won't do RF frequencies at all, because 200 kilohertz is that AM at all? No.
AM is
What the
less
heck
than
is
one
AM?
1 kilohertz, less than 1 megahertz.
Yeah, but it's like what,
It's
500?
below 160, 570 to 1700.
Yeah,
I think is the range.
So yeah, so the bottom end of AM is 2 times the bandwidth of that Finirsi scope. So you're not going to do any kind of RF stuff with it at all.
What does that 399 one do? That big blocky box thing? Just it looks like an old oscilloscope. Is that all it's good for?
This is not. That's probably not a scope. That's a power supply.
With a fancy screen on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
That's a triple output power supply. So
yep.
Without knowing the whole deal on this, so that's going to be your earth ground there. So this will earth ground if you want to, like earth ground. This is going to be isolated. So these are not earth grounded.
Nice.
And then what they typically have is 1 or 2 of these are higher power and one's lower power, or vice versa, something like that. And you can run them all at the same time. So when you're trying to debug or test something, you can supply, 0.7 volts DC to the collector of a transistor, and you can supply 9 volts to power the circuit, but you can insert your 0.7 volts to turn on the transistor at a certain point. That's why you have a multiple output one. I don't have one of those. I ain't nearly that fancy.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
But for starter scopes, let me pull up that.
Yeah, you're liking that Finirsi. If only they could name it better.
Right? I mean, I don't know who the marketing guy was at that company. That's not the same one. There it is. Actually, it looks like it's under 20 different brand names.
Yep, brand generic.
So this guy is good. I did a video on this the other day. I posted it Sunday night if you haven't seen it. So this is nice. This has a single channel, so you can only test one thing at a time. It has PWM output, so you can generate PWM signals to feed Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, so on and so forth. And it has a DC voltage in, so you can use it to test power, continuity, and all that kind of stuff. And then this, let me pull up this picture. This part right here in the front, you can drop in multiple different kinds of ICs and transistors, like they're showing you here, although there's no component in there. This is what the screen does look like, and it'll tell you the layout of, okay, leg 1 is the collector, leg 2 is the base, leg 3 is the emitter. That's not what this is. So on and so forth. So for JFETs, MOSFETs, transistors,
diodes, resistors,
capacitors, all that stuff. And like literally, real common stuff would be resistors. I'm almost 60 years old. Trying to read color bands.
Almost.
I'm way too lazy. Way too lazy to do that. And I don't remember them. And I can't see them.
And I don't care, because I have tools like this and a regular $30 DMM that I need anyway.
Yep, that you need anyway. And so this is nice because you just jam it in there and hit the test button, and it tells you, hey, that's a 50K ohm resistor, or that's a 30 nanofarad cap, or this is it's this kind of diode, and it's biased backwards, knucklehead, because you can't see the stripe on it. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I thought that was neat for that price, for $48. And it's a scope. So is it the best scope in the world? No. This is not lab equipment. But if you want to play with the scope, you want to get used to one, this is cool. And the other upside of this is, since this is battery operated, you can test mains power with this. It's rated to 400 volts AC. So on the scope side.
What kind of battery does it take?
I don't, what does it say?
I mean, you didn't pop a couple of AA's in the backside?
No. They're built in. I want to say it's a couple of 18650s.
Yes, Joe, we called you a feral cat. I have no idea what you're talking about, but yes. Yes, we did. Is that what a Finirsi is?
Oh, a feral cat. Yeah, I don't know what kind of batteries. I want to say it's a couple of 18650s in there.
Oh, nice.
But it's sealed, so you're not taking them out. It's USB-C chargeable. The port for that's on the bottom.
Ah, picofarad cat. No, he said picofarad capacitor.
Oh.
But I can see why you'd think that, Joe.
Joe Brett, you cracked up.
I should have said it in a southern drawl, but I ain't got no southern drawl.
And then this one, this is getting a little more pricey now. This is a Prime Day deal, and I did a review on this. This is also like $30 or $40 cheaper than Banggood today, because I bought mine from Banggood. This is a 2-channel oscilloscope with a signal generator as well. This also has a DMM built in, so it does all the kind of DMM stuff that you'd normally see. Ape and I each bought one of these, and this comes with, all the kit you see here. Now, the thing I'll tell you, when you're getting to $200,
you're getting into baby Siglent territory.
You're getting into low-end Siglent or low-end Regal territory or Handtech, where you can get a big size scope for not much more money than this. Now, the thing is, this fits in a bag. So you can stick this in a laptop bag, a go bag. This is something you could take out on field day and get some use out of. It only goes up to 100 megahertz, so you're still not really doing RF with it. You can do HF. You ain't going to do VHF and UHF, but, Apester, what's up, brother?
So Abe had another deal for this one, because there's like 4 different models of this, and I think the 2102S is the best model, and the one that Abe had was priced higher. It was like $230.
Yeah, that's the one we bought. He bought the same one I did. He copied me.
Bastard.
Yeah, it's son of a biscuit. We bought the 2102S, which is 100 megahertz, 2-channel, and the S means it has a signal generator built in it. Hey, Ron. So that's like the top end of this little thing right here. You can get a 70. Here's the 2102, which is 2-channel, 100 megahertz.
That's right.
For $25 less, but it doesn't have signal generator.
That's why. Jim, can you buy that for me?
No.
Okay, so
I'll sell you mine.
Is there anything in your cart? Is there anything in your cart that you don't want people to see? Okay, stick this one in your cart real quick. Let's play a game.
Oh God.
And then let's go find the Siglent that you would buy instead. That's around $200.
That's around that one.
Yeah. Just, while we're playing games, let's play some games. And there was another off-brand you were telling me about.
Handtech 01.
Yeah.
Yeepook?
Yeah, that was the one.
That's like
name.
That's like off-brand.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about Yeepook.
That's the one you get at Walmart. It's not good enough for Target.
So see, this is 400. Well, it's almost $400, but
yeah, doesn't compare.
It's
also not a Prime Day deal.
No. This is 2-channel, 200 megahertz. This is going to have FFT in it, which is something I think if you're going to buy this as a ham, you want to buy a scope that has FFT.
At least, yeah. And you get into, if you're really talking big into scopes and you really go down the rabbit hole, you can get them that decode USB signals.
Yes.
You can get it so you push a key on the keyboard and it'll put the letter on the screen. Like, yep, I understood that. That was an A. $319. You're still $100 over.
Well, this is probably the closest one right here. So that's an 1102. That's 100 megahertz 2-channel. Sample rate of 1 gigasample per second. It
USB
records
and
1
LAN
million
interfaces.
points. Yep. This has a web interface. My Siglant has a web browser, a web server in it. I can control it from a web browser.
I can't imagine that display updates all that fast, does it?
It's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. Let's see. This doesn't match what the screen says, but that says 150. That says 100, so I'm not sure which. But now see, here's a Handtech right here. This is 150 megahertz 2-channel, 1 gigasample per second, 8 meg memory depth with a 1-channel waveform generator for $259.
So you wouldn't need a signal generator to go with that?
Probably not. Not to get started with it. Certainly no. And the thing about the signal generators, you can get, for less than $200, you can get a signal generator up to maybe 60 megahertz. Past 60 megahertz, the dollar amount goes stupid straight up. But see, I would honestly probably buy something like this as a starter scope before I would buy that 01. For one, this has got a signal generator in it. For two, this is a desktop model. I mean, if that's what you want. This has better bandwidth, 50 megahertz more. It has a higher sample rate because that 01, I think, is, I mean, it might be, I think it's 500 megasamples. I don't remember. What I don't know on this guy is if it does, see, that has a waveform generator. I mean, you can go down to this one without the signal generator, and you still got the scope.
So how much is a signal generator?
Well, the one I sent you was about $12.
Right. And all you're using a signal generator for is to prove that your scope works, essentially?
No, you're using it to inject signals into circuits.
Oh, okay.
You're using it to look at filters. So if I want to categorize a filter, or characterize, I mean, so I might have the signal generator put out a sweep signal to go from what's that little filter I've got? It's a 125 kilohertz filter. So I'm going to have the signal generator sweep from 100 kilohertz to 200 kilohertz, and I got to add a little bit of a circuit onto it, but I can get the scope to show me what the pass band of that filter is. Of course, you can do that with a spectrum analyzer, but that's a whole nother show. And if you have a scope that does FFT, then you don't even need to do the fancy circuit building thing that I did to make it work with the scope. The FFT function does the mathy stuff to show you what that looks like as a frequency versus time signal. Let's see this. Okay, so see, this is excellent. This surpasses the 01 right here, because that's telling you 14 waveform outputs, 14 kinds of trigger modes, standard with 5 kinds of serial protocol triggers and decodes. So that means this thing will probably decode UART, SPI, I2C, CAN, maybe USB. USB is usually a premium decode feature. So that's excellent. That also means that this probably does FFT, which that 01 does not do. So for $199, this is an excellent deal.
Okay, stick that one in the cart. Let's keep looking.
This is a better deal for $245.
Okay.
Because that gets you the signal generator.
Ron, I'm working on it.
You also need one of these. But that's another show. All right, what are we looking for? More scopes?
That Yeepook one.
The Yeepook one, yep.
Yeah, type that in. Type that into your browser on a live stream.
Hail Mary, here we go. Joe Brett said Ape smelt the scope talk.
He did, yep. He smelt it. I like smelt.
Yeah, Ape's right. You can get a decent signal generator for probably 60 to 80 bucks. Mm-hmm. So you
And a
can
not
get
so
that
decent one for
separate.
12.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ape built a kit very similar to that one I did and sent to you.
That 555 timer thingy? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that little signal generator I sent you like I don't know 6 months
Right.
ago.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. You said the one that Ape built. I was wondering if he built,
I
if you're
thought he
talking about,
built. Didn't he build the signal generator?
he did, but I'm asking you if it's the 555 timer thing that he just built or if it's something else that he just built. I'm
I don't
guessing something
remember.
else.
I don't remember. So
157.
this is kind of cool. I don't know how big that is. That doesn't.
It's thick. It's 2C's thick.
Yeah, I think this is some Chinaman photography here, making this look bigger than it is. 2 channels, 100 megahertz, 1 giga sample, 240 K bit sample memory depth. No, this is
Not
a
good
no.
enough?
No, that Handtech was way better specs. Hell, the O1 is almost better specs than that. That looks cool because of the form factor, but this is a better scope than you have, Steve. 100, we saw that one. 189. Let's see, 2 channels, 100 megahertz, 1 giga sample. See, that sample depth is awful shallow. That's just how much signal is in the buffer that you can scroll back and look at. This has FFT. So that's not shabby. I think the Handtech is probably a better deal, but yeah, see that's got, and this is the other thing you're looking for when you're looking at scopes, is you want one that does some math functions at least. You really want FFT, but this is also very excellent to have these measurements because the scope will do all this stuff for you. On older scopes like my Tektronix is, I have to like eyeball the screen and count blocks and squares. On these newer scopes, they do all the counting for you. So I know that my Vmax on channel 1 is whatever.
Scopes with built-in math are killing ham radio.
Right. In the old days. So we'll add that to cart.
That's like flying a Cessna without a Garmin.
Haha. Yeah.
I didn't say without an iPad. I said without a Garmin.
When I was learning, my instructor wouldn't let me. I had a really nice aviation GPS, a handheld one I bought. He would never let me fly with it. He made me fly with the VOR stuff. I'm like, dude, 1965 called. They want this back.
Awesome, Travis. Thank you.
If you're not using a slide rule, you're cheating.
I want a 2020 pilot's license. I only want to fly planes that are relevant in 2020. I'm not hating on the Cessna. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a beautiful plane. I like it. But I'm not at that point in my flying career path where I want to fly a 1960s VW Beetle.
It was a 1970s VW Beetle.
Oh, because of the carb de-icer?
It smelled like a 1970. I had a 68 VW. That plane I flew in was a 73 Cherokee, Piper Cherokee.
Yeah.
It smelled like my Beetle. It smells like gasoline and sadness. But it flew. So some of these other ones I just don't know enough about to recommend them one way or the other.
It's the E6B, right, Lon? That's the name of the slide rule for...
The slide rule flight computer. Yes, sir, I do remember that. Do I remember how to work it? I haven't touched mine in years, so I probably don't. I'd have to look at it.
When you get into weight and balance calculations, I stop being the pilot in command. We're just going to sit here.
Right.
Grandma can take a taxi.
He, when I started flying, my instructors, I had 2 different ones. They didn't make me use the E6B. They recommended it. I bought it. I said, this sucks. And I went to Sporty's and bought the electronic pilot calculator that would do weights and balances, and all I had to do was put numbers in, and it made magic.
The E6B in a $12 pocket calculator form, yeah.
Yeah. And I believe my instructor, who has passed away since then, who was a super nice guy, he's like, I think those things are killing piloting. Whatever, Jack. Whatever,
Well,
Jack.
I'm not flying a B-29 Liberator here. It is a
It's like,
Liberator, right?
no, B-29 was a Stratofortress. Super
What was the
Fortress.
Liberator?
Liberator was a B-24
I was so close.
or
I was five.
25.
I was 4 or 5 off, man. Come on.
Let's see. The 17 is the Flying Fortress. The 29 is the Super Fortress. The 52 is the Stratofortress.
B-24, and Lon says.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. It's either 24 or 25. What's the 25? What's a B-25 then? That's the one that Doolittle flew into Tokyo when he raided Tokyo in 44. I don't remember that one. Anyway, so we've beat up oscilloscopes. The other thing to look for, if you're going to buy a spectrum analyzer, go get a Tiny SA and go get it from R&L.
Liberator.
Mitchell. That's right. The B-25 was the Mitchell. Tiny SA. Now, what I have heard, and I'm only on here because I'm showing them to you, I would probably buy this from R&L instead. As you can see, there's a whole lot of these things listed, and I don't know how many of them are, fakes. They all look good.
These guys are fighting for pennies, though.
They are.
I mean, the difference in price on their side of the transaction has got to be pennies. I guess it's pennies that I have that you don't at this point. So
right. R&L is probably where I would buy one. Let's see, what is that? Tiny SA. $59.95 at
oh, it's even cheaper anyway.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not really a Prime Day deal. That's probably their everyday price on it. But
That's where I got mine from.
yeah, same here. Same here. Guys, what's some other stuff y'all want to look at? I'm about ready to wrap this up. Someone's got to go get dinner.
Jim's looking awful hungry up there.
I'm not starving. But I'm ready to
So
eat.
we found a deal earlier today on the Zygu G90. If you want an HF portable rig at a decent price, they have it $100 off on Amazon today. So try and pull that one up if you haven't already.
We did, but I thought it ran for $440, $450. Is it $500?
It's
For
like
that thing normally?
$4.99 or something. It's in the high
Oh.
fours.
Okay, well then that is a better deal.
It's a 20 watt HF radio. It's kind of tossable.
Yeah.
The 991A was on a Prime deal. We didn't find it earlier this morning.
Ooh, I'll have to look for that.
There you go. $100 off, $399 from $499.
And I will say this, and I don't know who's the 705 lovers in the audience, Abe, Steve. This has a tuner in it,
My 705 has a tuner in the bag with the radio.
added on, that requires
Added
separate
on.
power.
And batteries, yeah.
Now, Steve, do you have a G90?
I have one on the way.
Abe had one.
Yeah, he did. He just got rid of it. He gave it to Thump, I think.
Yeah, I think Thump told me that. Abe, how did that thing tune? Was it really a good tune?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah,
Is
I've got
it?
a couple of shorts on my channel where I'm tuning that big 100-meter doublet that I have, and it was able to tune, I think it was able to tune everything except for one, for sure, and I think the one that it couldn't tune was 160.
Okay.
But, I mean, 160 you get to use on every other Tuesday after 5 p.m., and
Right.
usually I'm, busy.
You have to be of a certain age. Well, those don't look like deals.
Compared to the 7300. I mean, Amazon's not a good place to buy HF desktop
No,
rigs. What's that antenna that's in the second row down in the middle? Looks like a buddy stick.
It is a
Yeah, that
super
one.
antenna.
So that's a cross between a toy box, a Wolf River coil, a Buddy
Uh-huh.
Stick Pro.
I smell a lot of frustration and sadness with that antenna.
It's probably not that bad. So our friend Bob HOA Ham just did a review on an antenna like this from
Oh, really?
Gabil. Look up GABIL because they sell antennas and antenna accessories.
On here?
Yeah, GABIL. Just one A. And he actually was able to get it tuned up pretty easily. I want that tripod. That's a UHF SO239 connector with a counterpoise lug, and the tripod legs are extendable. I think it's overpriced.
I think I saw this on something, maybe on your channel. Somebody showed me this before, and I coveted
Yeah,
it.
dude got one.
Is that where
So
I
look
saw
at
it?
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at the sixth picture on the left. That one. See how those legs extend on that tripod?
Mm-hmm.
The fifth picture might be a better one. I don't know. It's hard to tell from the little tiny thumbnails I'm seeing here. Yeah, look at that. That looks pretty slick.
I looked at that, and I think I thought it was a little pricey.
Oh, look at that.
But look how small that folds up. See, that looks stout. Usually on those little them little tripods, they're so wibbly wobbly that I wouldn't trust them with anything. The camera's not included in this.
Oh, darn. For just $5 more, they could have had me.
So what am I looking for, Gable? Because I'm not seeing anything here that.
So they sell a telescopic antenna.
GabbleRadio.com.
Yeah, so there it is. See the one with the tap in it? I think they have one that where it slides also. It's got like an internal slide.
Yeah, hang on. There we go.
Oh, Don says he has two of those tripods and he only paid for one. Don, my friend,
Really?
my most favorite Don of all the Dons.
Buddy. That's right, the leader of the Don Army. Oh, okay.
Antenna.
Well, that's
Is
what
that
I
the one
clicked.
you clicked on?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, now I got something different. Oh, that was accessories. Handheld antenna.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. I appreciate that.
Let's try base station. Oh, there's HF.
Don't tell Ape, but I got a through the glass antenna today.
I don't think Ape judges those. Chuck does. Chuck's still mad at me about the through the glass antenna.
Yeah, but Chuck likes ham sticks.
Right.
I got a ham stick standing up in my yard right now with no coax on it. And Don's saying it's the G7350T. So I see a 7350 on there.
I don't see the other one. Let me see if I can find G7350T. That is not giving us a result. Oh, there's something. I gotta fix Chrome. Keeps opening up new tabs on me every time.
Not including the bass part. There it is. That's the one. So that big black tube slides up and down.
Okay.
It's a sleeve, and it works like a Wolf River coil does.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. 7 to 30 and 50 telescopic. GRA 7350T.
Just to be pedantic.
Why I don't know.
And that's an extra coil to add on to get you even bigger bands that it shouldn't tune.
GRA 7350T.
Made in Taiwan.
Here we go. Now I got it. Length 55. Oh, I guess 2.6 meters. I don't know what 55 is. I guess inches. That's not right. 2.6 meters is like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, I think it's a 7-foot whip. Don's finding the eHam reviews. Good luck, Don. Have a few laughs for me.
Let's see what the OMs have to say. Yeah, there's not a lot of tremendous ham deals. There's a lot of ham adjacent stuff. I saw you guys had Baofangs on there this morning too.
Yeah, Baofangs and Tid Radio. There's a good deal on multi packs of the UV5R variants. You can get them as low as
Okay.
$30 a piece.
UV5R pack. It's battery packs.
Yeah, $199 for a 6 pack.
So what is that? $33 a piece.
Yep.
That's not.
But
Not
that's
terrible.
that includes the hand mic and the programming cable, and every radio comes with 2 batteries. So that's actually a really good deal.
Yeah, that is. That is. Now those are not. How would you characterize those radios? Are those ham radios? I
The
guess.
Baofeng UV5R, yeah, they're 2
Yeah.
meters 70 centimeters.
Yeah, I mean
I
they're not type accepted for GMRS or FRS or any of that.
correct. Yeah, they're ham only. They have a G, I forget what it's called, a GM5R or something like that, which is their GMRS version, I think.
Okay.
There is a lookalike. Oh, it's shockproof. I was shocked. There's a lookalike radio that's GMRS only.
Well, it's shockproof if it falls in
Mulch.
right?
Okay. In the chat, is it mulch or mulch?
It's mulch with the CH. All right. So we got 2 things. Let's wrap this up. We're getting close. At least I got to go. And I will be glad to kick this over to your channel if you'd like. What are we doing with this, Steve? I'm not going to buy these for you. I mean, I like you. You're a really good buddy, but you ain't this good of a buddy.
So out of these ones, which is the best one to get? Because we never found a Siglent that was in this price.
I'd buy the Handtech.
250.
250. And it's kind of a wash. So you could get the Yeepook, which is cheaper.
I just want to get it so I can make
So you
Jim
can
say
say
that for the
Yeepook.
rest of his life.
Right. And you could spend $40 or $50 and get a separate signal generator. Oh, that has one. Never mind. Wait a second. Let me look at this again. 2 channels, 100 megahertz, 1 gig of sample, 240 kilobit sample memory depth. And then the other one. Oh, yeah. Okay. Get the Handtech. Forget the Yeepook. So the sample memory depth on the Yeepook is
That's what you were
sad.
saying.
Yeah, it's sad. This has 8 meg memory depth. This has like 256K memory depth. So the hell with that. This has 2 channels. This has the waveform generator with it. This is going to have FFT. This is like as far as I can tell, this is like a second tier Chinese scope kind of deal. And I think there's some good reviews on it. Now, if you watch EV blog, he probably crapped all over these. But he craps off over every scope he's ever
Everything.
touched. Yeah. Hi!
Why?
But if it was between this one, let's just get rid of that one's dead to me. If it's between these 2, I would absolutely buy the Handtech. I would buy the Handtech.
So about $50 more.
Yeah. Yeah, but it has a whole lot more functionality. So the O1, let me pull it up and share it.
Oh, Kevin's saying the 150 megahertz Handtech is $231.99, so it's cheaper. The DSO2 D15.
Okay. See the O1, the thing with the O1, it's $200, which is cheaper than I paid for it. It's got a signal generator, but it ain't got FFT. It doesn't have it at all. It has some basic math, which is not bad, but it doesn't have FFT. And if you're going to buy a scope and you're an amateur radio guy, get one with FFT because you'd want FFT. Which one was he talking about? What did he say in the chat?
DSO2 D15.
DSO V215.
DSO2 D15. DSO2 D15.
Okay, spelled.
The number 2, but you have
Alright.
D
Oh, okay. Hang on.
D215, it's just D15.
I got you.
You're adding an extra 2.
How about a copy?
There you go. Nice.
Okay. Oh, my Lord. Okay, what
There
do
it
we
is.
got here?
$199. That's not it. That's the C10.
That's the C10. There it is.
There it is. $259. He got it for $231.99. I don't know how he did that.
150 megahertz, 1 gig sample rate, 8 meg memory depth, built-in 25 megahertz waveform generator, trigger modes, 5 kinds of serial protocol decodes, comes with one 150 megahertz probe, includes another 100 megahertz probe for second channel. Don't confuse it with professional lab scopes or compare its built-in DDS generator with arbitrary ones. I don't know that that's filling me with confidence there. But again, for what we do, guys, this is not terrible. Was there another one? And he said he got it for 136 or 231. Okay.
$231.99.
There it is, right there. $231.99. So this says AWG supports. AWG means arbitrary waveform generator. They also call these function generators or signal generators. There's probably some difference. I can't tell you what it is off the top of my head. 32 kinds of measurements, real-time stats of max, min, standard deviation, multiple data formats, waveforms, reference waveforms. It'll save stuff, bus decode, and protocol analysis. Here's what I was telling you right here. RS-232 UART, I2C, SPI, CAN, LIN. So those are pretty common. TFT display. Can store more than 1,000 waveforms information. You can upgrade the system through the USB port. Support plug-and-play USB storage device and communicate with the computer and remote control through the USB. So that means it probably does Skippy.
Skippy?
SCPI, Serial Communications Protocol Interface, I think. I can't, something like that. So there's a $300 Siglent. Here's the here's a Siglent. Oh yeah, look at the difference though. 50 megahertz. So no. Pass. So yeah, that Handtech looks like probably the most bang for the buck in that $200 to $250 range. That's a good price on that. 18 ratings. What has it got?
So, Jim, if you want to head out, I can keep on going. Shane wants to join in.
Oh, yeah. Let him bring him in.
Yeah.
Well, let me at least take a pause and find out what Mrs. Perry expects me to do, because I may have to go to Subway and buy dinner. We haven't eaten yet.
Ooh. You don't have Uber Eats where you are?
No, not unless I want to pay like, $50 for him to drive out to the county. No.
Oh, geez, no.
Yeah. All right. I'll be right. I'll be back and let you know what I'm doing at least.
All right.
Whoa, that was fast.
Hey, Shane. I'm bailing. I can't hear you anyway.
Am I muted?
No, he doesn't have his cans on.
Well, good evening. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, Shane. How are you doing? I'll just kick him out of the studio like I own the place. This is Jim's channel. It's now the Shane and Steve show, the Shane and T.O. show.
Let's see. What can we get strikes on now? Let me go to YouTube. Start playing some music. Man, it has been a crazy summer for me, and I'm finally glad to have a night off where I can come hang out with the guys in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you in a minute.
Well, that's what happens when you work in the airline industry, when everyone likes to travel. and summertime is the absolute worst to try to get time away or to have a normal schedule, doesn't work at all.
Weird.
So yeah, they offered some double time for us to pick up OT. So I'm like, I'm gonna go make hay while hay's making, as my granddad used to say.
Yeah. Make hay while the sun shines, as the rest of us used to say.
Yeah. But no, that's about it, man. Got some. I saw you were doing some Prime Day stuff. Did anybody get some steals?
I haven't bought anything. I will confess I'm not a Prime subscriber. I will make that confession.
You know, I was in the same boat, and I decided to try it out. And sure enough, after ordering like 4 or 5 things and having to pay shipping for it, the free shipping was totally worth it.
So if you put more than $35 in your cart, which I'm not in any hurry, so it's not that big of a deal for me just to kind of drop a couple of things in and load it up. Once you get to $35 in the cart, it'll be free shipping for all the stuff that would have been free shipping on Prime anyway.
Oh, nice.
And then they stopped doing the 2-day delivery thing that they used to do. It's like, it's Prime, but you can get it on your Prime Day, which is Monday this time that you're checking out. It's Tuesday next time you're checking out.
Right.
And it all Prime is it's whatever is in the warehouse that's close enough to you to make it in 2 days ground shipping, 2 days base cheapo shipping rates. Then they call it Prime.
I think Prime Day is actually the warehouse reduction day, where they go out and they catalog all the junk that's left over in the warehouse that either got returned or nobody's bought and said, hey, we're going to sell it to you at 50% off.
So Prime Day is good for Izzo to buy some underwear, I see. This is his once a year underwear purchase day.
I'm sure he got some dude wipes to go along with that. That's his new favorite thing.
Oh, Ron got the Handtech scope. Way to go, Ron. Awesome.
Nice. Good job, Ron.
I still don't know what.
Did you see my steal that I got from? It wasn't on Prime Day, but it was an Amazon
The batteries?
deal.
The batteries, the EcoFlow stuff?
Hold on. Yes. Hold on 1 second.
All right. You're wearing pants, right? Oh, thank God.
It's time for show and tell.
Awesome.
Beep. That guy.
What's
So,
the
12 volt out here. So you do. Well, it's hard to do when you're looking in a camera. So normal 12 volt out, or you have
auxiliary plug?
Some barrel connectors. You've got USB, and you have a 100-watt USB-C.
Nice. So you can run your laptop off of that.
Yeah. And then it has 3 120 volt.
I like how they cut that little hole out for the grounding plug.
For the ground, right.
Yeah, like it's not really a ground, but you can still plug grounded stuff in here.
It's groundish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I
it's
mean,
not super heavy. It's like 257 watt hours, I think.
So if you were to unscrew that handle from the top, would they stack nicely?
So if you take these feet off, you can actually put another battery on it and double the capacity.
Nice.
It wouldn't stack on the top side, I don't think. I don't know how you would get this off.
Because Chuck and I were complaining about that earlier today.
Yeah, you can actually get, I don't know if you can just do 2 batteries or if you can do 3 batteries. I don't know how many you can stack on it, but you can stack. I know you can at least do 2 because the Pro version comes with a second battery already. But yeah, solar.
Well, you got the amateur version.
Yes, absolutely. I got, more to come on that. And then you have solar input, or you can charge it with your car charger.
So I see the XT60. That looks like a wall plug, an IEC plug.
Yep.
Nice.
And it will go from 0 to 80% in an hour and a half.
Nice. So that's your new POTA battery?
No.
No. Why not?
The AC side is really noisy.
Well, can you turn the AC side off?
You can. But that was purchased for camping. So that's going to run my lights that light up everything. It'll keep the batteries charged on the cell phones. It'll do all that stuff. I'm still going to use the Miati and all the rest of the stuff for the... Joe Brett did say he ran his 7300 at 75 watts off of that, though.
Nice.
He just made a cigar adapter or cigar plug or cigarette lighter, whatever you want to call it. He made one of those for his 7300, and he said it ran it at 75 watts perfect. He tried it at 100 watts, and it cut it off. It was a little too much current draw.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that I got that and a 60-watt solar panel for $75.
Nice.
It was a huge mistake. It got yanked down off of Amazon shortly after I posted it. And I think we had 17 of them that actually purchased it because I was using an associate link so I could keep track of them. 17 of them were purchased, and then they yanked them off the site. But I guess there was a double coupon in there because it was supposed to be like $200, almost $300 for the unit when you get the free solar panel. But they ended up putting in an additional $250 discount in there. So I was like, sold! Can't buy it fast enough. So that was fun.
Jim looks a lot like T.O. Am I on the right channel? Yeah. So Jim got a makeover. Jim's now fabulous.
I don't know. I got almost as much gray as Jim has. Is he coming back, or did he just decide we can run with the chat? Can you shut the stream down, or does
I can shut the stream down?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So he may or may not come back before Clubhouse comes on. So we got some time. We have some time to make some mischief, some mirth. So
that's always fun.
Yeah.
Tonight's going to be fun on the Clubhouse. We're talking the 2022 plaque event for Parks on the Air.
Nice. We're doing that on Thursday.
Coming up weekend. And then we're going to talk about the self-uploader.
I can't give out mod rights. Steve's asking for mod rights. I can't do that. I don't have that kind of access. I just have access to StreamYard.
Oh, so you can't kick people off then?
It's the summer to remember, Don. And that comment I made earlier about Don N5SKT being my favorite Don, he's not sending me that tripod. So Izzo, you're back to being number one.
My number one Don. And I'm sure there's some other mischief items that we'll be coming up with on the Clubhouse tonight. As always, the introductions will last an hour when they used to take 15 minutes. And we might graze the topic at hand at some point. You never know. We have 2 hours to play with. So it's either going to be at the beginning or in the middle or somewhere. But there is a topic at some point.
You guys do topics? We gave up on topics a while ago.
Occasionally. I've just started naming everything the potluck special. That's basically what it is. It's whatever's going on in Molson's world or Izzo's world. And if you come early enough for the countdown, I'm going to let a little teaser out here. I put in a little nugget of Don Izzo in the countdown. So you'll have to come check that out. That'll be fun. And I don't think Izzo knows what I'm talking about either. But
Ed is saying the episode number this week is key. What's the episode number?
This is episode... Of course you would, Ed. This is episode 69 of the Ham Radio Club.
Nice.
And we put Izzo in charge. So Izzo's running everything tonight. And Don N5SKT, I have not forgot about you, my friend. I promise. My work schedule is AMs for tomorrow and then PMs through the weekend. And Monday I'm off. And I'm going to be actually over in your neck of the woods on Monday getting my car service done. So I will swing by your house at that point, as long as you're around. No, Joe Brett. Joe Brett is going to actually be running the show tonight. I'm going to be sitting in the back reading the chat. T.O. is are you making contacts? You muted yourself. I can't.
7207 is James.
Oh, I can never hear him. Hold on.
Tune him in.
One moment.
I got a lot of static crashes on the band, though.
This might take some maneuvering here.
I'm S3 or S9, depending on where the lightning is.
Oh, do you guys have weather up there tonight?
No, but somewhere between me and West Virginia, there's some weather.
Well, I know there's some on the East Coast. All right. Let's see. What, you on 40, you said?
Yeah, 7207.
I don't hear anything there. Oh, well, that's in the noise. Well, maybe I don't know if I'm hearing you or if I'm hearing, if I'm hearing him.
Oh, you might be hearing my radio through StreamYard, yeah.
Oh, there he is. Let me tune right quick.
Right on top of him.
Right.
Let's just move in and start calling CQ on top of him. Because I bet my signal to you is stronger than my signal to him.
Probably.
Kilo Mike 9 Golf. Oh, Don sneaking in there. Don, don't be stealing my QSOs. Here's Whiskey 1 Foxtrot Yankee Golf in there.
I could just barely make
Kilo
him out.
Mike 9 Golf. Jim thinks he's back.
I hear Whiskey 1 Foxtrot. I've got static crashes on my end too.
Yeah.
She cooked
Kilo
bacon.
Mike 9 Golf. Perfect.
Had a bacon tomato sandwich, which is pretty much perfection.
Skip the lettuce. Skip the rabbit food.
I did.
What kind of mayo did you put on there, Jim?
None.
Good answer.
None. She put Dukes on hers, but no mayo on mine.
Tune into 7207, Jim.
Oh, son. Alexa, turn comm center on.
Uh-oh.
Kilo Echo 0, November Whiskey Golf.
Kilo 5 Quebec Bravo
Kilo
Foxtrot.
Echo 0, November Whiskey Golf.
I didn't even hear you, Shane.
I keep
5 and
hearing
8,
Whiskey
5 and
Golf
8.
in there.
You're 5 and 6 here in South Dakota today. Thanks for doing it. 7-3.
Thumper on 7207. Kilo Mike 9 Golf. I'm afraid
Yeah,
if
I
I
can't
turn my
hear you
amp on, I
too.
still can't hear him.
It's probably too early. I could probably hear it, T.O. I could probably hear you on 20. 40 is just a little too short right now.
Thump, we done the wheeling and dealing deals, son. If you was awake, you know.
You got to hit that live button. Fast forward.
That's right. I'm on 7207. I don't hear anything but
Ah, there's a 5-9 Georgia.
Come hunt before the lightning. Kilo Mike 9 Golf.
I got somebody right next to you.
A Kilo 4 station in there.
So Shane, I had the TV on while I was eating a sandwich. What did you end up getting with that? So you got a solar panel and that solar generator.
Yeah, so a solar generator. The panel. It's 257 watt hours, I think.
On the battery box.
Mm-hmm.
Dingus.
And then 60 watt on the panels, and I got all that for $75.
Shit.
It was a big time error on Amazon's part.
I reckon it was.
They threw in an extra $250 discount, and I couldn't hit buy fast enough.
Oh my!
I was like, well, if it makes it, it makes it.
Right.
They'll cancel the order.
Well, I ended up, and I don't know if you saw it because I mentioned it way earlier in the stream. I ended up buying a battery box today, and I can find the link again on Amazon. Well, hell, it's in my orders, but it was $233, and it had $100 off coupon.
Oh, was it that Jackery?
No, it wasn't the Jackery.
The Jackery had a pretty big sale today too.
I didn't see any super deals on the Jackery.
Whiskey 4 X-Ray Yankee Tango. I hear him loud and clear.
This thing. I got that guy today. Now, I just discovered that it's lithium ion and not LiFePO.
That's what this one is too. It's not a lithium iron phosphate.
I don't know that I care. I don't think I do.
I don't either. Their bigger one, the bigger one that will power your house, it's lithium iron phosphate. Because they do have one, the Delta series, it'll actually run your house.
Okay. This guy, I mean, it's a 300 watt and with $100 coupon. So I got that for $133. And so I got another one that's not this brand. It's similar, same rating. And I think I paid almost $300 for it last year. And I mean, it's a hella deal. So it'll run my CPAP and the other one can run the wife's CPAP all night and a couple little fans and charge phones and all that kind of junk. Ape's asking about the Chin's battery. Yep, that's gone down. I paid over $500 for that battery last
Holy
year.
cow.
Yeah. And what I did with this is I've got I haven't got a kit built for it yet. I'm going to build like a stand holder thing, but I have a 2000 watt inverter to hook to it. And it's got USB chargers on it.
Oh, there's Joe Brett.
And all that. So my plan is to hook that up with that inverter. And then I can run television off of that cable modem.
So I actually plugged my my home refrigerator into this little box, and when the compressor cycle comes on, it pulls about 560 watts, but it's relatively efficient. And at running at full power, it was only going to run it for like 55 minutes. But when it cycled off, the fan's only pulling about 5 watts.
Right.
And so I think with the cycling, and if I keep all the doors closed, I could probably run that refrigerator for 5-6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing about refrigerators, if you can stay out of them,
Right.
you don't need to run them.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the thing. As soon as the power goes out, the kid runs straight to the fridge to see
Right.
what's in there, and then stands there with the door open for 20. Shut the door. But
you're letting all the cold air out.
Well, and so that's interesting. I hadn't checked my fridge, but so that's telling me with that battery and my 2000 watt inverter, I can straight up run a fridge.
Yeah, you should be able to, because this one's only rated at 600 watts on the AC side. It will do a burst. I'll have to look at the manual, but you can put it'll do a surge, but when it does the surge, it lowers the voltage. So if it's a voltage sensitive piece of equipment, that might not be the best thing for it during that surge.
I don't think that'd be a good thing for a compressor.
Right. You wouldn't want to do that, because as long as it keeps it under 600, it does fine. So even when the refrigerator, when it kicks on, it only pulls like 550. When the compressor comes on, then it comes back down to about 500.
Right. Yeah, because you'll have that inrush current when the compressor fires. Yeah, Kevin, you're exactly right, and that's something we ought to look up. And I think there's more than one kind of those things now.
Man, Joe Brett is 5'5" into Texas.
Kilowatt. Kevin's saying get one of these things. Yeah, these have gone down. And then you can see exactly what your fridge is pulling. And this will let you, I shudder to say this, plan ahead.
Whoa, careful now.
I know, it's cray-cray. That's cray talk. It'll let you plan ahead. So when you're going to run stuff in a grid down situation, right? You know what you can run. Like these little ones, the 300 watt
grid down. I got those to run CPAP machines or a little fan or something like that, all night, because I need air conditioning.
T.O., are you on 20?
Awesome, and it requires
No, I'm on 40, 7207 still.
So that's a pretty good idea. That's on sale. Geez, $239. Yeah, I think I can just read it off the screen. And then, of course, inverter. And there's a whole ton of these things. I think this is the one I have. I believe I got the Renogy. I don't remember. But, yeah. So
I just heard Joe Brett.
Oh, yeah, he's loud. I'm on 14,245 if you want to see if you can reach me on 20.
7207. Yeah,
that's where James is
7207 is James.
Yeah.
I got somebody right next to him talking all over the top of it. What are you on?
K5 QBF KM9G.
And I didn't hear a word of that.
Shane, where are you at?
I'm on 14,245.
K5 QBF KM9G.
I heard someone I heard my signal somewhere.
Victor Alpha Foxtrot or something like that. Kilo Mike 9 Golf K5 QBF.
Yeah, I'm hearing this hash.
K5 QBF Kilo Mike 9 Golf. Copy the 2-2. You are also 2-2 into northwest Wisconsin. Hey, noise reduction.
Steve should tell him almost Canada, really.
You're muted, Shane.
Yeah,
there you go.
I was saying, I wasn't even cheating. I could actually hear you on the radio.
14-245, Don. 14-245.
Don's probably going to blow my ears off. I'm too close to him.
I got a hot air station I haven't taken out of the box yet.
I do too. I just bought one last week, and I didn't buy a high-end one. I got specifically just a hot air station. I don't remember which brand it was.
Aren't you in the car, Chuck?
I was about to say, isn't he heading to Arizona?
Yeah, he's going to the canyon. What's up, Charles?
The canyon.
So yeah, there's a bunch of deals on these things, and
the solder stations.
Yeah, and see, this is a great deal here: a soldering iron and a hot air in one unit.
N5 SKT Kilo Mike 9 Golf. I got you.
Well, I'm going to head out, guys. I'm being paged into hair and makeup.
Oh,
Thanks
please.
The green room.
The Gleam Room, yeah. But thanks for having me. And if you guys come over to the Ham Radio Clubhouse tonight, 7 p.m. Central Time, we're bound to have a good time.
Okay,
let's see if I can find a link.
Steve, I made you a moderator.
I can't post it, otherwise I would. But I think we've got KO4AFL Steve in there in the chat. But I'll say 73. Thanks for playing radio, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yes,
73, Shane. All right, I dropped the Clubhouse link.
Sweet. I don't see it. There it is. It takes a minute to get from StreamYard into YouTube.
It does.
That earlier, yeah. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for staying. Thanks for running the show when I went to eat my sandwich.
Yeah, don't rewatch. You'll be fine.
Don't rewatch. I had it on the TV. I was like, what are these guys doing? Are they saying anything stupid? I don't know.
Of course we are.
FVP Labs, he's a knucklehead. Anyway, y'all, thanks. Have a great Prime Day. Is this thing continue tomorrow? Is there a Prime Day tomorrow? It does.
There's one more Prime Day tomorrow. I'm going to do another live stream tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And I still got to do the torture test on these radios. This is the Redivis.
What I meant to do, yeah.
FT49?
That's what I wanted to ask you, is what radio is that you have?
RT49P, Redivis RT49P. And they're on a 20% off sale today.
Are they on Amazon?
Yeah, they're on Amazon. That's the 4-pack, but you want the 2-pack is the one. Well, no, that's a Prime Day deal too.
Yeah, that's $116 for 4.
Yeah, $30 off.
And those are floating IP67.
Yeah, so I got a big old vat of water here that I was going to test it in, but we didn't have enough people on stream to do it. So,
there's a limit required for.
Well, I didn't. I mean, Redivis was nice enough to send these radios off, and I'd like to at least get them some views. You know.
Right. All right. Well, guys, thank you. You can tell I kind of threw everything together. I was like, well, I don't know where Steve is, so I'm going to just.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
See what happens? My green screen is off tonight, but fellas, thank you for watching. I'm going to hit the go button. Y'all go watch.
Head over to Clubhouse.
Clubhouse 73, y'all.